Right, so welcome back to Adventure 82. Today we're off out, but before I tell you where we're going, Erica complained last time we went to the Utisberg barn that I didn't speak in any kind of German. So maybe now's a better time to correct that. So, willkommen bei Adventure 82. Heute geht es zum Igelsnest und zu den salt mining. And for Mum, Hayley, and anybody else who doesn't know any German at all, I just said welcome to Adventure 82, and today we're off to the salt nest and the salt mines. So when I see you next, I will be at the salt mines, or because I'm not sure which order is going in. I should have checked. Never mind. Either way, when I see you next, I'll be at one of those places. In the meantime, I'm actually off now to get breakfast. So I'll see you whichever place they take us first, because it's a bus tour. I have no control over where we go.
If you forget my name, I'm Mozart, okay? But Richard is the better name, okay? So, we are driving now first to the Eagle's Nest, okay? And I will also introduce you our driver. This is Samir. Hello, Samir. Hello. And we have a 9-hour tour. First is the Kehlsteinhaus, the German word is Kehlsteinhaus, the Eagle's Nest is Germany. Is English. Then we drive to Berchtesgaden, a beautiful city. We have stayed there about 1 hour 15. It not exact. When we are there, I tell you exactly the time. There is also go to the beautiful village, or if you want to eat something. This is about between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock or 1:15. Then we drive to the salt mine. Okay. We have then the salt mine is about 1.5 hours. And then at the end we go to the King's Lake, a very beautiful lake. So if you want to swim, you can swim there. Okay. So I have a question. Desire, please don't eat in the bus. Okay. Thank you. And we are here now in Salzburg. The translation into English is Salt Castle, because here the salt business was very important. In 696 came Bishop Rupert of Worms to Salzburg and founded here 2 monasteries. The Nonnberg Abbey for the nuns. This is where Maria stayed, from the movie Sound of Music. Do you know Sound of Music? It's famous in your countries. In Austria it's not famous. A little bit I tell you then, but it's not the Sound of Music tour. You don't have to sing, okay? But if you want, you can sing, yeah? And then the Nonnberg Abbey was for the nuns, and St. Peter's Monastery was for the monks. This was the beginning of a period of 1,000 years where the bishops and later the archbishops, they had the political and the religious power in the independent state of Salzburg. Salzburg was a church state. If you know the Vaticano in Rome, it was similar. And the archbishops were very powerful because they controlled the salt business. And the salt was called in medieval time the white gold. It was used to preserve the food. Now the Eagle's Nest is on a mountain. This is the Kehlstein mountain. In Germany we say this is the Kehlsteinhaus. And Adolf Hitler, he was born in Braunau am Inn. This is about 60 kilometers north of Salzburg, and he was from Austria. Later he lived then in Linz as a teenager, and then in Vienna. And he wanted to be a painter, but he didn't pass the examination for the university. And later, when he was dictator, someone wrote his book of his life. And the man who wrote this, it was not allowed for this man to write that Hitler lived in a homeless home after this. They have to cancel this. He wanted to change the government, and then he was a little time imprisoned. And there he wrote a book. This was Mein Kampf, My Fight. During the time of the Nazis, every couple, when they married, they got as a gift the book Mein Kampf, and he had the rights because he wrote it. So because of this, every couple, there are 1 million weddings every year during the Nazis. So he earned a lot of money with the book. For him, it was not necessary. And
right, so currently we're walking up a tunnel to get to Eagle's Nest. We had to transfer from the normal bus onto a special bus because apparently it needs special brakes to go down because of how steep it is. Eagle's Nest, when we got up there, was very rarely stayed in by Hitler, was mostly stayed in by Eva Braun, who was his girlfriend slash wife that he committed suicide with at the end of the war. Right, so we're now currently at on top of the Obstalsberg. As you can see, despite the beginning, my German is still not brilliant. Either way, we're on top of the mountain that the Berghof, which is the German name for the Eagle's Nest, was built on top of. The reason I was talking to you so much before is just trying to keep up with the tour bus people that we're with, because there's a group of us. Just keep up with the group. So basically what I was in before, as I was trying quite hastily at that point, there's a tunnel that goes through, and then there's a big, very, well, classed as elegant, almost kind of over the top elevator that looks perfectly normal on the outside at the other end of the tunnel. When you go inside, it's actually brass lined. And apparently the elevator itself is completely original with the exception of the lights, which is obviously being replaced with modern bulbs. But as I was also saying, this the Bahnhof, which is the Eagle's Nest, Berghof, wasn't stayed in very often by Hitler purely because of the lift. He suffered from claustrophobia, so he didn't actually visit here very often. More often than not, the person who stayed here was in fact Eva Braun, who was his personal photographer. Later became romantically involved with him, and she actually got married to him not long before the end of the war. I think they were married about a week or so, maybe two, before they both committed suicide in Berlin. And then of course a week later the war ended. So but more stunning views like we got from the Autobahn, the Uterbergbahn. But there's some more steps up to the top there which Eric would like to go and climb. So let's go have a look around and see what we can actually see whilst we're here. I'm limited on how much time we've got. We've got, according to the tour guide, because otherwise I'll be told off, half an hour before I have to meet him with Erica and everybody else, obviously outside the elevators go back down. So let's see how much I can find for you in half an hour. It's almost like a blooming Annika Rice bloody treasure hunt thing. Anyway, let's go. So if we go up to the top, hopefully this time, before the battery dies on the camera. Never know your luck. Right, let's go have a look. I love that kind of, I don't know if you can hear it through the microphone, because the microphone obviously is meant to filter out background noise to give you a clear sound for what I'm saying. But I don't know if it's the trees or if it's the mountain, but one of them is making the most stunning whistling noise because of the wind. You can see this path's being barred off. You can hike these mountains just as because the Uterberg. The Uterberg is actually not far from here. You can see the little villages just down here are actually not technically in Austria anymore, we're now actually in Germany. So most of this area that we're looking at today is in Germany, because you are on that cusp of the border. But right, We'll get to the top where you can see there's a crucifix, and I'll meet you guys up there. Almost fell over. Right, do you enjoy the stairs, Erica? Nice view though. Another interesting thing to note as we're walking up here is wasn't just Hitler that lived along the road up to the Salzburg mountain that we're on. There was also quite a few of his higher ups, if you like, his close what do you call them? The word's escaping me today. A lot of his close workers, people who work closely with him, had houses up here as well. It's also worth noting we're so high up you can see there's still snow on parts of the mountain. But which actually brings me to another thing. The road that comes up here in the winter is closed off because it's such a high risk of avalanche that they closed the road because it's deemed not safe. Which begs a very interesting question. Why, oh why, did they build up here if he could have killed himself coming to his own house? It's just the view, isn't it? It's the grandeur of it. And it is grand, there's no doubts. Right, these hills here that you're looking at, this is all off. Now, Eric is better at remembering this stuff, so let me check. This direction we're looking at, this is Salzburg, isn't it? Yes. So I was looking over Salzburg. These hills are where you would have seen Julie Andrews singing The Hills Are Alive with The Sound of Music. Interestingly, we also found on the way up here that The Sound of Music is not a famous film in Austria. In fact, the gentleman who's touring it to us only watched it once he started working for the tour company. It's just not a famous film. It doesn't help that the Uterberg, which is over here, there's the hill over there, the Utersberg, is a hill that at the end of the film you see the Von Trapp family escape over, supposedly to go to Switzerland. And in actual fact, if they'd escaped over the Autobahn, as you can see, they wouldn't have ended up right next to Hitler's house, so that wouldn't have worked, would it? Switzerland apparently is about 100 miles the other direction, so that's no use. But what I'm quite pleased about is the sun has come out. There hasn't been much sun since we've been in Austria. It's not ruined anything, but it's nice to have the sun back. And Erica can now breathe again, as you can see. Got our crucifix there. Stunning view over Germany over here. Look at that. Absolutely stunning view over Germany. With the river down below. There's a lake down there. We're actually going to go and see one of the Grand Lakes. That was a surprise I didn't realise about at the end of this tour, so we'll go and look at that as well. I'll get some of that for you. For the sake of not boring you to death, I shall leave you with this mountain. Stunning view that we have. And now I'll make my way back down, because I'd like to take a couple of pictures and things before we go. And then we'll move on to the salt mines. If this does go on as long as I feel it might, this filming, it may be in 2 parts, but we'll see. Anyway, back down the hill for me, and to the next clip for you. Okay. Right, it appears I'm being slightly too hasty. The mountain we went up here, that's Kehlstein, the Über Salzburg is that direction, which is a separate mountain. And then this house here is what's left of Eagle's Nest. Most of it was demolished, including the original house and all the other houses that were along the road. Right, so now I've cleared that up and no one can tell me off. Like I said, to the salt mines. Right, so as I predicted, we did entirely make it too long for one video. So we'll leave it here. As you can see, well, from the video clip anyway, we're on our way down to Berchtesgaden, which is where we had lunch that day. After that was the salt mine and King's Lake. The salt mine, I wasn't actually allowed to film inside, or take photographs for that matter, would you believe? But we'll tell you about it in the next one. We will have a good look around King's Lake, which is a stunning place, in the next video. It's also worth mentioning that I don't know if you've seen the post or not on the Adventure 82 Facebook page, but there's a link now in the description for the Adventure 82 website, which will show you what the latest video is, and there's also a link on there to Adventure 82 shop if you're interested. Obviously there's buy me a coffee as well if you'd like to do that. You don't have to do any of these things, you don't have to give me any of your money, because just watching it and subscribing is enough for me. That's fine. Also Printful, very kindly, who supply the t-shirts etc on the shop, have very kindly given me a link, an affiliate link, for you if you want to start printing your own t-shirts, photographs, cups. They do all sorts. They can either do it as a order where you do it as keep it in stock, or you can do it as a print on demand basis, so every time somebody orders it they'll print it and send it out for you. But I do have a look at that. They've been really helpful and simple to use for me anyway. And as always, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.